Hey guys, Mike Pattern Traders, February 4th, Friday. Weekend is here. I'm not going to even tell you guys it's going to be a green weekend because we're probably going to drink some. I wanted to talk about the oscillators on a higher time frame, just strictly oscillators, so you guys can see what we're looking at. We finally got a 5-day cross on the PTT. So for me, that is my, let's just get rid of this because that's not out in the public yet. All right. 3 indicators, MSTX, RSX, and PT trend. So we did get our 5-day cross on the PTT. Only problem with this cross is, most importantly, we don't have a triangle. The triangle is a high time frame reversal signal. It doesn't call it to the T, but it tells you that, okay, now the PT is going to try to reverse itself. But we didn't get it yet. So we might not even get it. But chances are this is going to go for a second dip. Probably something along the lines of this, and then go up. That'll be your main long for a local bottom, assuming that. So RSX is still kind of far away from crossing. We're still downtrending on the RSX versus when we were at that summer consolidation zone over here, back in June and July at $28,000 to $29,000. The RSX was just flatlining, which is bullish while the price is going down. There's price is going down, RSX is going down. This is not a bottom. MSTX also another bull div as well. These are all bull divs, by the way, guys. These are all bull divs. The way RSX is making a lower low, MSTX made a lower low, price made a higher low. It's all bull div, but they're unconfirmed until we start getting crosses. A lot of people play bull divs in a higher time frame, and they're valid, but you can't, technically speaking, you can't wait for the bull div to confirm and then get in because you're going to be far away from the bottom. So likely, as the bull div is forming, as we see right now that it's forming, you go on your lower time frame. If you get a bull div on the weekly or on the 5-day, you go on the 12-hour or in the daily and try to get a nice little entry closer to invalidation. You can't get in on a 5-day and put your stop loss 10, 15% away unless you're swing trading. That's different, but that's not my style. So weekly, which is a very important time frame, we're kind of far away, but at least we made progress. The reason why I'm saying we made progress is the RSX finally curled. If you want to look at it a little closer, you see this, it's open candle, by the way, so this thing could just easily flip to the downside. See this little line, the way it's flatlining? Ideally, if this weekly in 2 days closes a little bit more on the bullish side versus bearish, and we can close above $39,000, which I'm kind of doubtful, but if we could, at least you're going to get another week of flatlining. Week 2, which is going to be the upcoming week following Sunday, you want to hope for at least a curl to the top side. So the way the RSX works is first you die, then you flatline, then you curl, then you cross, right? There's a big difference between all those three. So again, the first thing that you want to always see on the RSX is a flat line. Second thing, okay, first thing, flat line. Second thing is going to be a curl. And the third thing is going to be the cross. Now, those three are steps into a bullish behavior, say a multi-day. This is the weekly right now. So say you're going to get a multi-day or multi-week a bullish behavior. But the main long usually comes from number 4, retest, right? But the retest doesn't really happen on the weekly unless you're starting a freaking 5-month bull run or a 5-month or a 4-month bull trend. The retest, if the weekly crosses, the retest usually happens on the daily or the 2-day. So let's go see what I'm talking about. Get rid of this shit. This is very important because in the past, I've never made a video for you guys. I mean, I've made introductional and educational videos for the oscillators, but now I want you guys to see it live. We're all trying to catch this bottom. Everybody in this Discord is going for this fucking bottom. And I'm going to show you guys how I've caught the previous bottoms. And this is exactly the same strategy. Just hawk the oscillators on the higher time frame. I'm going to show you. So if the weekly is about to cross, it's not anywhere near crossing, by the way, guys. But just assuming that this is going to flatline and then curl to the top side, assuming we have a little bit of bullishness next week or whatnot. You want to go to your 2-day or your daily. And you want to see something along the lines of, let's find a necessary retest. This looks like a good retest. Let me see. I'm going to have to run a 2-day then. Yeah, this looks like a decent retest, but it's probably short-lived. Retest, retest. Okay, start with this retest over here. So this over here is a retest where the RSX line, which is gray, retest the signal line. You can even use the first one as a retest, but I usually like to use the one that creates a order block. So it'll be this right into the breakout. That'll be your retest. And once you see the retest, you have two options. Do you front run the retest and assume this is a retest going to be made and then you get in, or do you wait for the retest to get made, break to the top, so then you enter? I personally front run all the retests because I know that I'm a high time frame crowd. So I'm already in this, but at least I get my confirmation that I could sit back, relax, and not have to watch charts for quite some time. Because when your weekly crosses and then you get a retest in the daily or the 2-day, you're chilling for a couple of probably like 2-3 months, man. You know, again, unless we're in a bear market, that's different. Then you'll be lucky if you get 2 weeks out of that retest. Let's see what this retest did. This retest went up and then it died. Perfect example. Right here. This is a clean retest. This is actually one of my favorite retest type of behaviors. It's exactly what I long. I usually play this like 9 out of 10 times. You get your cross, your algo fire, and then boom, your retest is right here. That little poke to the downside. A retest is the signal line. A retest is basically when you cross to the top side with the gray line, you come back down, and then you retest the signal line. This is your long. That's your long. So given this behavior, I played this like 9 out of 10 times. Beautiful. But because we were bearish, look what it did. It only went up probably like, what, 15%, 20%, 27% on the retest. 31%, sorry, 31%, which is nothing. And then it made a lower low. So again, it all depends on the higher time frame behavior. And when you are in a downtrending bearish behavior, you get a lot of the zigzags right here. Right. So again, this video is strictly going to be about oscillators, guys. I'm not going to really go over price action because I've been talking about price action for the past like maybe 3-4 videos. A lot of people have DM'd me the past maybe, I don't know, 3-4 days about what am I looking for on the RSX and MSTX. Well, this is it. Again, I indicate on the 2-day be very observant about when, let me get rid of this. When the gray line crosses the blue line and when the gray line crosses the red line, the pink line, right? These are the two most important areas. And the main pump or the main uptrend starts once the signal line crosses the trend line. We're not near that yet, right? So look, we just got our first cross. Okay, I'm gonna label this. Low band crosses trend band, right? Makes sense? The trend band is the blue band. Trend band is the blue band. The low band is the gray band for those who have the oscillators. So we just got it right now. 2 days. The 2-day cross. We just got it right now. Okay. The next one, the most important one to identify that the trend is going to be up for a couple of weeks is going to be signal band crosses trend. And the reason why I like playing the 2-day is because it's a happy medium between the weekly and the 12-hour. Now, usually you want to play the 3-day or the 5-day or the weekly, but the 2-day more often than not is enough to give you guys an idea that, oh, okay, I should be looking for longs right now. I shouldn't be looking for shorts, right? It's just something to just assume. So when we had this first cross over here, we went for a retest. This is your retest. We always speak. The retest happens on the MSTX, and the retest happens on the RSI. It's stronger on the MSTX, by the way. So when we had the retest on the MSTX over here, that was the same time that we had the RSX retest. We went up. I don't know what this percentage is, 30, whatever we said before, 30%, and then came back down for a lower low. It actually didn't make a lower low. I'm lying, it didn't. 29,000 versus 28. So the lower low was the retest over here. Anyway, so once the signal line crosses the trend line, we went up, had a nice little multi-month bull trend, and I'm pretty confident we're going to have the same type of behavior here. Once this line, look at it, look how far away they are. They're pretty far, guys. Signal line is at the 16 value mark, and the trend line is at the 25. Look at this big gap. So we need this line to come up and then to cross. That's what we need. And that's exactly what we need. And then we're going to have a nice little uptrend. And then we're going to start targeting all these little beautiful highs. By that time, we'll probably be down here. I don't know where we're going to be, but you know what I'm saying. So that's how I'm playing the high time frame oscillator. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Let me delete all this and go back to... I don't even know if I could get it back. Get it? Get my other Aussies back? Or maybe not. I'll go to another chart. Here we go. Let me reset this. There we go. All right. So now lower time frame. Oh wow, this is a daily three top. This is a daily 3-poke pattern, guys. Huh. This is gonna crash. 1, 2, 3. This goes down. Wow, I just saw this. See how quick I caught on to that? Yeah, this is gonna crash, unfortunately. That sucks. Anyway, so lower time frame perspective for oscillators, you want to assume that every single time, this is strictly in a downtrending market, every single time your red appears on the 4-hour or the 5-hour, be careful with longs, guys. Be careful with longs. Every time the red appears on the MSTX or the RSX, be careful in longs. I'm not saying to short, but just be a little more on the hedge side, or just be out of the market at that point. And then re-enter if we do happen to break above resistance and whatnot. There's another thing I want to show you guys on the PTT trend. Very important in my eyes during a downtrend. 12-hour. Look at the 12-hour, guys. Let me get rid of this because we don't need this right now. Ever since November... Sorry, guys, I'm fucking stuffy. November 16th, the histo has not crossed the 0 line. At all. At all. You see how the histo keeps trying, but it keeps getting rejected? And now the worst thing about it is that there you go. The worst thing about it is that, guys, look at this. The histo has made only 2 pivots. This is your first pivot. This is your second pivot. And the histo, more often than not, when we're macro downtrending, makes 3 pivots. So we still have a third pivot to go, which sucks because it's going to be another dump that's pending, man. You know? And, yeah, it's kind of depressing because if you look at the higher time frame, look at the daily. See how the daily back in July of 2021. Again, I'm going to keep talking about this accumulation range because it was very important for us. You see how this has been, the histo was ascending? This histo's not ascending, dude. The fuck is this? This histo's not ascending, you know? It's flatlining. It's not ascending. This is what you want to see. And every single time you get these I'm going to turn these in a different color so we can see the pop and make them darker. There we go. Every single time you get these red bars, the algo is firing for reversal, right? We only had 2 sets. Look how many sets we had over here. And yes, that's important. Excuse me, that's definitely important. Now, go even further. Go to Bitstamp. Close all this nonsense. Go to the 3-day. Look at the 3-day. We haven't had one red histo. You're not going to macro bottom without a red histo on at least a 2 or 3-day. 2-day hasn't even had it yet. You know? So we're far. If I tell you we're far, we're far. Worst of all is, look at your weekly. The weekly histo is bearish. Like we just broke to the downside ever since, I think it was 2019. Hold on, let me see. Let me open this. Last time we were sub-zero on the histo was, okay, 2020, I'm sorry, 2020. Right here in May. And we just broke down. So these 2 pivots on the histo, on the weekly, 1, 2, finished and completed the pattern. More often than not, what happens now is we reset. How do we reset? You have to come to the bottom a little bit. You go on your 3-day, assume that you complete get some red bars, ascend, and then break the zero line. We're far, guys. We're so far. I don't even want to exaggerate how far we are. Like, if you understand oscillators, we are fucking far. We could chart all we want every day, switching biases, but I'm telling you guys, from the macro, we are far, man. Unfortunately, we're far from like a beautiful uptrend. It's gonna be choppy and grinding lower and shit. What else did I want to show you guys? Weekly has a hidden bull div. We discussed it. If the RSX can cross, we have a beautiful hidden bull div. And I mean, that's pretty much it. Oh, I wanted to get rid of all this. Here, let me show you guys this. Just the trend line. Just keep the trend line on. Right here, right? This blue line. Let's go to your 2-day. Every single time the 2-day hits the bottom with an algo fire, we get a significant bounce, right? We got an algo fire. We got a bounce. But we still have to curl. See how we're not even curled yet? We're still pointing down, right? We still have to curl. So let's assume this. Just keep watching the 2-day and the 3-day, guys. Assuming that your MSTX curls after an algo fire, which is fine, then start looking for just strictly longs, right? Because every time you get that curl with an algo fire, you get a decent move up. Now, what happened here? This is a bear market. This is what happens in a typical bear market, because if you zoom in and see where this came from, weekly. Look at the weekly. You know what? Go to like the 5-day. It's even better. Look at the 5-day. It did the same thing, but it didn't bottom out yet. Look at the weekly. Again, this in the 2-day looks like a bunch of zigzags, right? Look at the 2-day. Looks like a bunch of zigzags. And you're like, yo, Luca, we hit the algo, we hit the bottom so many times, and all we did was make lower lows. Of course, because the weekly was trying to bottom out. And it did. The weekly bottomed out. Right here. The weekly bottomed out. And once the weekly completed its bottom, we had a bull market. Same thing with over here. The weekly bottomed out right here. Trend line. Algo fire. Bottom. Boom. Trend line. Algo fire. Bottom. Boom. Look how far away we are. We're at the top. We are at the top. So more likely than not, regardless of if we die from here or die from here, whatever poke up we get is going to lead to a reset. Whatever poke up we get above, I'm talking about like whatever poke up we get after all-time highs, it's going to lead to a reset like this. So whatever macro move we get after we bottom out is probably the final blow. Unless it comes from here. I don't know if it's gonna come from me. I'm doubtful, but you never know what could happen. If it comes from here and we bounce to the mid and go up, whatever move we get, that will be the end to crypto markets for quite some time. I actually gave some advice to one of my friends. He's a financial banker. He makes a lot of money in the city. He doesn't trade charts, so I gave him the MSTX. I told him to go buy a TradingView sub, and I told him just put an alert when the trend line and the weekly crosses that 25, 26 mark, start looking at the crypto markets. Until then, just stay out of the markets. And he goes, what do you mean? I'm like, it comes every 5-6 years. At that point, just know that if you do happen to catch a bottom of a trend line, basically if the trend line or band hits the bottom, invest like maybe 200,000. You probably make at least like 10, 15, or $20 million. So I tried to explain all this to him, and he's a wise guy because they trade bonds and they trade mutual funds, but it doesn't trade charts. And he caught on to it quick. He's like, all right, no problem. So unfortunately for the people that are new, if you did happen to miss this bull market, don't worry, we're gonna have another one. I mean, it's not gonna be as strong. It's not gonna be as rewarding because obviously COVID was in play here. A lot of money was flowing in the markets. Things went up like 20, 30,000%. But it doesn't mean that the trend is over, right? So regardless of if we die from here, or if we die in 2024 and come back down to 2023, whenever the trend line or the trend band, whatever you want to call it, the blue line resets itself again, guys, same fucking song, put it on repeat, invest a few $1,000s. This is not financial advice. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to invest a few $1,000s, probably a lot more than that, but you know what I mean. And I'm going to sit back and I'm going to just enjoy the show. Because if I had this in 2019, I would have been sitting on a pretty big pretty big chunk. I just didn't have it, you know? So we all got the indicators sometime up here, like that 20,000 mark, unfortunately. Anyway, it is what it is. Doesn't matter. No point in going back and just looking in the past. But you learn from your mistakes. So, guys, again, we're at a top on the trend on the weekly. So be very careful. Whenever this thing resets, that's when you want to be fully exposed in this market. Okay, guys? I know we are all going to forget. I have alerts on it, so I'm not worried. But just keep that in mind. Even if you look at the 5-day, you always want to be sub green. With the trend line. 3 days wishy-washy because at the end of the day, if the weekly still wants to bottom out, the 3-day could sit here for quite a few months, like the way it did over here, and just keep making lower lows. But nevertheless, guys, this is the oscillator video. Watch exactly what I told you on the RSX on the 2-day. Watch what I told you about the RSX on the MSTX on the 2-day with the signal. These are the most important crosses. Now that I don't have the low band down, just keep watching this. These two to cross, it's very important. And call it a day. See, we had it over here. We had the first cross here, and then we had the retest, and the retest did it. But again, you always want to see the cross with the algo fire, the blue algo fire. That's the most important cross. That's what you want to see. So you already had your algo fire. You had your algo fire here. The blue line turned black. It's very important, and just run with it. All right, guys. Cheers.